Welcome to the Recovery Lab podcast. We're glad you were able to join us. Recovery Lab hopes to destigmatize addiction and normalize recovery.
Our platform provides an avenue to share the many stories of those that have recovered from addiction, providing for the listener the most basic antidote to addiction: hope.
All right, everybody, we're back. This is episode number 87, the Recovery Lab podcast series. I'm Drew Hassan.
I'm Daniel Anderson.
We are the Recovery Lab. All right, why don't y'all just introduce yourself since we have ladies first.
All right, my name's Amber Norsworthy.
Hey, Amber.
Hey, Amber.
Hey.
Hey, and I am Tyler Norsworthy.
Hey, Tyler.
All right, and y'all are not brother and sister. Y'all are married.
Right,
We are not.
correct.
We are hitched.
Well, look, we don't have too many couples on at the same time that are in recovery and
Both doing the deal.
both living the life of freedom and abstinence. What is it like for y'all as a going relationship concern married couple in recovery? Well, maybe that's too fast.
Okay.
Why don't we do 30 seconds of introduction?
Okay.
All right, you go first.
All right. I grew up the only child. My dad was an alcoholic. He got sober in 97. I had some trauma growing up with that. And today, my dad is a wonderful man of God. I can say that. But it just led me down the path of some bad behaviors with boys and experimenting with drugs and alcohol in high school. And my story really just surrounded around men, sex, drugs, all the things, which then along with that comes children. With addiction comes losing custody of children. So that's pretty much me. I got sober in November of 2014.
All
Wonderful.
right, almost 10 years. Good for you. All right, your turn.
Let's see here. I was born in Montana. My mom was a drug addict. Dad wasn't in the picture. Got put into the foster care system until I was 4. When I was 4, the parents that I have now, Ernie and Kathy Norsworthy, they adopted me and set me on a good path. When I was a teenager is really when I started experimenting with drugs and alcohol. I got that first high, felt like I was home, just ran with it. And then it took me all over the place, in and out of rehabs, prison, homeless, halfway houses, you name it, I was there. And then I moved to Mississippi to go to Copac. And when after I got out of Copac is when I met Amber, and I decided to stay here. I did relapse December 2017, and then been sober since then.
All right. Well, that's 7 years, almost 7 years.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It's a long time.
Right after we got married, I'll say
I was going to
Yeah.
say y'all were married.
Yeah, so we met in an AA meeting. I saw him and I was like, I'm going to marry him. And it was, all my friends were like, are you kidding me? I had just gotten out of a relationship. I was dating someone and he overdosed and died. And the first meeting I went to after that, I saw Tyler. So we were a train wreck waiting to happen until we met Jesus together. I'll say that.
Wait. So someone that you met in AA and got into an early relationship with, it was a bad thing?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Oh, no. What
Everything they tell you
happened, man?
not to do, we did it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, join the club, bro.
And I
You know
don't
what I'm saying?
recommend it because it wasn't easy.
Yeah, it was not easy. Like she said, if we didn't find Jesus, we probably wouldn't be sitting here today. We'd be separated for sure. He's the glue that held us together.
So y'all did not, your faith revelations came after you got sober?
Yes.
What did that look like?
So we met in an AA meeting. I was super interested, and I was really I really struggled still. Like I always had to have somebody, and he was there, and he was my next thing. Like, okay, I need a relationship. And so we were headed down pretty quickly. If we would not have gotten saved, I would have used absolutely. So we started going to Pine Lake together. We got married after like 3 months.
Reservoir
at
campus?
the courthouse. Yeah, Reservoir campus.
Yeah, Reservoir.
And we got saved together, and then we did a little story with the church on Love First and prison ministry, and that after that is when Tyler relapsed, and that was very hard for me.
And we just it was one day he was preaching on addiction and it just hit us like really hard.
Like
That we had never surrendered fully to the process or to Jesus either.
We were dry. I was
And
dry.
we were just broken, man. And we just walked down there and just surrendered. So that's pretty much how it happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, that,
All right, so obviously you're going to have trials and tribulations, and real quick, Amber, did you feel as though was there something inside you that knew, like, I know I'm searching for something to fill a hole inside of me? Like, I know, like, I'm aware of this, but this is what my life has been, and this is the only thing that I know to be able to kind of fill this hole. Without God in the picture, as deeply as it is now, obviously, was that what you were doing with Tyler? It's trying to fill that hole, and then God comes along and realize, oh, I have self-worth, I have self-love, I can fill that hole with Jesus instead of men.
Right.
Did that revelation happen, and when did that revelation happen?
So the Lord really used AA to help me get sober.
Yeah.
I have so much gratitude for the program. But I did not use the program for what it's meant to be. I used it to socialize, meet boys, doing everything but drinking and using, really.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be alone. I always had this sense of I want a family, and because of my actions and how I was living, it never would work out. And I met Tyler, and he was so much different, and he was searching for the same thing. And it's just God worked it out like really beautifully, really.
For sure.
well, how many kids do y'all have?
So my story's probably way longer than Tyler's, but I have birthed 4 children. I have 2 big boys, and their father and I have a great relationship. We were married in the middle of my addiction when I hit rock bottom, all the things, and he divorced me, and I do not blame him at all. But he's a great guy. Tyler and I get along with him really well. We co-parent. It's only God could have done that because it was a mess.
Sure.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
And then whenever I went to rehab in 2014, decided, okay, this time I'm going to stay. I want to stay sober. I want to be sober and live life differently. I was there for 2 weeks at Harbor House, and I found I was pregnant, and I was freaking heartbroken. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I really want to get it together this time for my boys. I had lost the judge took them away from me temporarily until I got my crap together. And then here I am in rehab pregnant. I had no idea who the daddy was. There was many circumstances with different men. So there was and I was legally married. So my husband at the time was disgusted. He's like, so this could be my kid. It could not be my kid. And it was just a really scary time for me. And it took a lot of prayer. So I called my parents whenever I was at Harbor House, and my mom, it's like she knew before I even said it. I was like, I got to talk to you. She said, please don't tell me you're pregnant again. I was like, I am. She said,
Guess
Amber.
what?
Yes, like just like that. And
Love
so that's
you.
like the 3rd time, Mom, I'm pregnant. The 3rd time, she's like, what are you thinking? I'm like, I wasn't, obviously.
Yeah. You don't really think straight when you're on that
not
dope,
at
baby.
No. So we prayed the whole time I was in rehab about adoption. I really considered it.
Yeah, they wanted you to give
They
Owen
did
up for adoption.
They weren't like saying like I think you should give him up, but like if
Right.
whatever you want
No,
to
this
do.
is an option.
Yes,
Yeah,
right, because
right.
they were financially helping me, and they're like, we can't afford you having all these kids.
Yeah.
And I get it, and so we prayed about it for a long time, and I had a great counselor at Harbor House. But I decided to keep him, and finished Harbor House, and then I went to the secondary Harbor House back then, and then I graduated from that, and then I went to Grace House, but I was like getting big pregnant, and I begged them, please let me stay here while I have this baby, and they had just opened up, and they're like, well, we've never had a child here, let me talk to the board, and they said, okay, you can stay here. So I had the baby, went to my parents for a week, and I brought him back, and it was just like a really cool thing. It really helped me because I did not want to be by myself postpartum. I was really scared I was going to use. And we lived there for 9 months, and then we got out and got our own house.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And then that's Owen, and then we got Gentry.
Oh, yeah, I forgot where I was going. So,
Yeah.
yes,
Well-
Tyler and I met when Owen was 11 months old. He fell in love with him way before he ever fell in love with me, he says. And he
Love
has
that kid.
adopted him. But then we had Gentry, and she's 5.
Yeah.
So y'all have one together?
We have one together.
Biologically, yeah.
I adopted Owen, and then the other 2 are my step boys, but they're all from Amber.
My womb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the oven.
It's a big family. It's a
It
big family.
is.
It's half a basketball team.
And we're done.
Good
We're
way to
almost
think-
there.
That's a good way to think about it. All right. So Drew mentioned something. Let me do this here. All right. Drew mentioned something at the beginning that this is not something that I don't think we've had any couple come on.
We've had our spouses on,
Yeah.
but I don't know that we've had. None's coming to mind.
Yeah. I don't think so either. All right. So one of the things that that I'm curious about, and I know how Drew and I handle it, but I'm curious how you guys handle it. So having two people that are in love, they got 4 kids, right? 4 kids in the house. How do you take care of yourselves? How do you focus on, because if you're, if
And
you're
how
not
do you deal with
perfect,
Right.
controversy.
yeah. So how do you deal with controversy? Yes, but also how do you take care of yourselves? How do you set aside time for you as a couple? And what does that look like as far as ensuring that you guys don't stray and you guys kind of continue to fill each other's cup is what I'm trying to say.
I'll go first and then you go. I am always, Tyler travels a lot for work, so I'm always 9 to nothing. I work kind of part-time, kind of full-time, like 30 hours a week. And I've got kids in sports and school and just all the things, and dropping off and picking up my big boys with their dad or their grandparents. And so Tyler makes me take time to myself. I probably wouldn't stop if it weren't for him, so I'm kind of grateful for him. He'll be like, all right, kids, outside now. Leave your mom alone for a little bit. And so and then church, they go to their own class, and we get to spend time, just us two, in church, worshiping together, listening to the sermon together. And then grandparents will keep them, and we'll have us time and go on a date or whatever. Tyler gets a lot of alone time in his truck.
Yeah, I do get a lot of sometimes.
So you're gone a lot.
Yeah, so I don't travel as much as I used to. I do Walmart's fire and security systems. So anywhere where there was a Walmart, they were like sending me for projects and stuff. And then it finally got to the point where, she had had enough. The kids have had enough. I had enough, honestly.
How
gone.
long would you be gone?
I'd leave Sunday evening and be back
Friday afternoon.
Friday night. Really,
Jeez.
Yeah,
we did it for almost 2 years, right?
And then he told him to make a change. Or
I was like,
don't
dude,
know.
we got to do something different here.
So
And
now
then-
he's only going
so
once a
now-
week or something.
So now they switched me to I service the systems, and I do it mainly locally, and then I'll have to go out, 1 or 2 nights a week every now and then.
So it's not bad.
So it's a nice setup for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
That is tough. I mean, that's a that's a stressful facet of a marriage, being gone more than you're at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the main issue is that, like she said, like she doesn't really slow down, so she's doing all this stuff by herself without any help, and that's really, it was like wearing her down to the point where she couldn't take it anymore, which is completely understandable. Because
I'm thankful he listened to me and made a change.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
it had been mentioned before, and she was like, "Hey, we need to do something different." But it finally got to the point like where we need to do something.
This is the perfect scenario. Okay, how did you, respectively, each handle? Okay, he's doing something that's stressing me out. How did you keep from letting that develop into a resentment? Like, he just doesn't want to listen to me.
Well, I'm not lying. It did. Like, I would mention it. It was, my thing is I was thinking in my mind and not saying it to him. So I was starting to get resentment, but it's not his fault because I'm not telling him, because I know he loved his job. But he saw it on me. I was like, "Are you okay? Like, is this too much for you?" And I just broke down, started crying. I was like, "It's too much." And he was like, "All right, I'm calling my boss."
I think we both just had to reach a point of like humility on each end where it's like, all right, I'm ready to give and you're ready to give. And we just kind of met in the middle. Because I love my job,
And the
but I
money
love my
was
family
good,
more,
so that was hard for
honestly.
me too.
Yeah, it's
The
tough
money
to
was
be like,
very
hey,
good.
Yeah, the money was
We
very
had to
good.
cut back on a lot whenever he came back home and worked locally.
Yeah.
But I can say one of the hardest things we've ever had in our marriage while he was traveling full time was a year and a half ago. We got a foster baby, And
Oh man.
this is not,
Let's dive into this.
This is not my story to tell. And I talked to her. She would love to come on here, actually.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
She's in recovery.
All right.
But I wasn't her sponsor because I wasn't doing the 12-step program, but she would reach out to me during addiction and ask how I got
So this is
sober.
a full-grown person.
Yes, she's an adult. No, she has children.
Oh, okay.
So she was using, and her husband was in prison, and she would just reach out every now and then trying to ask. She was curious on recovery. And then it got to a point where the judge was going to take her children, and he was court ordering her to a rehab. And she went to Born Free, so she could take 2 of them, but she had one more. And
Who was a baby, by
Yeah,
the
he was
way.
10 months old. And she asked me if I would take him in. She didn't want him to go into the foster system. Like, literally, I woke up one day, she asked me, and I was like, oh my gosh, hold on, I got to think about this. I called Tyler, called my parents, and it was like, boom. And he was home with me the next day. And it was supposed to be for like a 30-day thing. Then it turned into 90. And then we ended up having him like 11 months. I love the baby. The mom is still
Love that
sober. She is doing so good. She's a year and a half. She's almost 2 years sober.
Yeah, she's been a while.
She's got custody of all her kids back, and we still get to get him like every other weekend. He'll come stay with us. But it was very hard.
Yeah, that was probably the
It
most
was
stressful.
very
Wow.
hard.
Because she was dealing
Yes.
with R4 plus him, and he was basically an infant.
Yeah, he was like
So
10
all the
months
things
old.
you have to deal with an infant.
And he didn't even know me. I went to pick him up from daycare, and he'd never seen me before. It was wild. It was so wild. But I'm so glad that we did that because
that kid was awesome.
it was really cool. It was really hard because I had to really step outside of myself
Yeah.
to do it.
I don't know if you can tell, but Amber's a lot tougher than I am.
No.
I don't know if I could have done that.
No. You did.
Seriously.
You helped.
Yeah,
he
I
loved
know,
you.
but like a couple days a week, but not like full time.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
was a
man.
lot.
That is a lot.
We had a lot of church family and
Yeah.
stuff that helped us, though. So a lot.
From
They,
Pine Lake?
Pine Lake and my parents' church. I mean, they brought, within an hour from being at our house, they had brought diapers, clothes, a pack and play for him to sleep in, like all kinds of stuff. So it was cool.
Yeah.
I didn't do it by myself.
It takes a village.
Yes,
Yeah,
it does.
absolutely.
Well, I'm sure that was very rewarding, though.
It was. Whenever it was time for him to go, it was hard. I cried. It was very hard. But I was also very happy for his mama, who is today is now one of my best friends. It was hard on my children. They love him. So
They
he's
always want
precious.
him
He
over there.
really is. He's
So
so,
you,
precious.
so you had 5 kids in the house.
Yeah. So my big boy's
Tyler
only there
was-
like 3 days a week. So
Were you still working out of town at this
I
time?
was still out of
Oh
town.
my
So I was
gosh.
home like 2 days max.
Oh my Lord.
You're like,
So-
yeah, I think this is a great idea.
yes, it was so random.
We'll take on this responsibility.
Yeah. When she called me about it, I
He
was
was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Yeah, you don't know her, but her name is, and we need to get her baby." And he was like,
and I know Amber.
We
Amber
need to get her baby.
Yeah, Amber like goes out of her, and this is not a character flaw. This is a good thing about Amber. She will go out of her way to help just about anybody, but she really did feel called to do this.
Yes.
So that's why I was on board with it because I could see it. I could see it on her that she felt called to do it.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
Is this something that you guys would entertain doing again? You don't even want to think about that answer? or
Jesus would
anything?
have to tell me, Amber, take this
It would
kid
have
in
to
for me
be,
to do
yeah.
it because it was hard, but it was very rewarding, and I love that family, and I love to see the mama doing good. You know, I can say whenever I was in and out of addiction, I thank God that I had a mom and dad that were willing to take my kids in when I wasn't living right. Because if I didn't, they would be in the system.
Right.
Some people don't have family to take their kids, and I'm just so grateful for that my kids didn't have to experience what Tyler has experienced.
Yeah.
Horrible foster homes with people that don't care about anything but the check.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Let's jump into that just a little bit because I'm sure we've had somebody here that has been in the foster care system, but I don't think we've talked about it in depth about what it was like and how that psychologically affects.
Yeah, how has that impacted you? How does that impact your ability to father?
Yeah, and trauma, dealing with the trauma throughout your childhood and now grown. I'm sure there's still things that, tug on your heart. So let's talk a little bit about that. So people that have gone through that or going through that can have a little bit better understanding, maybe get some help from your experience.
yeah, so for many years I felt like those experiences, they more or less like defined who I was and like what I did.
When did you go into the system?
I went into the system when I was, before I could remember, probably like maybe 1.
10 or 11 months old.
So parents, drugs and alcohol, or
yeah, drugs and
different?
alcohol.
Okay.
Very, very bad off in addiction. From what I can remember, the few memories that I have of being at my birth mom's house, it was like super chaotic, crazy stuff going on, people banging on the doors, all types of stuff. And it's just fleeting memories. But I do remember I remember being handed off to somebody and being put in a car. And I'm assuming that's when I was like, brought into the state's custody. Now, I was shipped through like, I want to say like 4 or 5 different foster homes, because it's like Amber said, they don't really care about the kids. They're more or less like getting it for the check. Now, and I say that not like all foster homes are like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they're not. Just the ones that I experienced.
Weren't loving.
Yeah, and they weren't loving. And, you got fed in bulk. It wasn't like any home cooking, and you got, so you had to stay in your room most of the time. If you got out of line, they'd freaking hit you. Like it was horrible.
So did the homes that you went to, there were multiple foster kids there?
There was like 20 kids in the house.
No, probably like 10, as his mama said, Miss Kathy.
Oh, okay,
About
like
9 or
10.
10, yeah, a lot.
I mean, it was a lot.
Of their kids,
It was
of
like
their kids,
yeah.
and the foster kids, because a lot of foster parents have their own children.
Right.
So you get a check for foster kids? Like,
Yes, I did.
From the
I say
state.
I was,
well, yeah. But like,
yeah, you get a check.
Per kid, you get like X amount of money to take care of that kid or whatever, but they don't ever use it to help the kid most of the
Sad.
time. You know what I mean? Like they'll go to Sam's and buy 800 packs of macaroni, and then that's what you eat for a week. Stuff like that. So, anyways, so it was very traumatizing. I went through a lot. Like there was a lot of physical abuse, emotional abuse, just feeling like you're unworthy. Like you're not worth a dang. I keep going away from the microphone.
no, you're good, bro.
Sorry. And that really shaped like my mentality going forward. And my mom and dad, bless their hearts, man, like they tried so hard to steer me away from that and make me feel like I was loved and special and wanted. And honestly,
Your adoptive parents?
yeah, my adoptive parents. And I mean, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them. They played a huge role in riding the roller coaster that I put them on, for sure. But I switched it from defining me, and I let Christ refine those experiences in me. And if you let Him do that, if you don't let your trauma just completely consume you, we go through things so that we can help others, and that's part of my story. And when you make that switch, then that's really where you find your strength in it. You find your hope in it, because God makes beauty from ashes. That's what He does.
Absolutely. See, one of the things that I think is paramount for me is when I was in active addiction, the victim mentality was where it was at for me. I created all this harm towards, against everyone around me, and then they retaliated. And then I felt as though, I'm a victim. These guys, like, look what they're doing. Like they're, whatever the case is that week, So I think it's important, and you just touched on that right there, that, you could very easily be like, you know what, I went through all this crap. Like I'm a victim. I am a through and through victim. This world is just, I'm just waiting for the next shoe to drop because everything has been awful, and I know that everything bad is going to go happen. And what it seems like to you is you have been able to, through work with church and just your own personal recovery, to kind of get past that victim mentality and be able to now look at your past as something that you can now use for good, and you can help other people that have gone through the same thing by sharing your story. So yeah, what happened to you doesn't define you today. It's something that God can now use to be able to help someone else. So I won't say that it's, obviously it's not a good thing that it happened, but it's now profitable to you in your ability to help other people.
Oh, it's paramount for sure.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's not easy to be in the system, I can't imagine it.
I can't either.
I just can't imagine it.
Yeah.
All right. So what, let me switch back over here. What is life like today? So you're at home a lot more. I imagine there's a lot more time to kind of hang out with each other, and we've kind of touched on this briefly, but how do you guys, what are some fun things that you do in recovery? And also, like, you know, a lot of people, if they're sober curious or whatever, you know, I can't imagine having fun in recovery. I can't wrap my head around how I can enjoy life without smoking a little weed or popping a pill or drinking a little alcohol. Like, what do you tell those people that are like, I can't imagine having fun? So what do you guys do in order to have fun and to enrich your life and kind of don't get in a rut of, okay, this is life. It just, you know, this is the routine that we're in. How do you kind of keep it fun and exciting for both of you?
Yeah. So we are super active with the kids. Like, we love going to the trampoline park or the regular park, or we are always doing something, skating ring. During football season, we have 3 boys playing football this year, so we'll be busy doing that. But we like to be outside. Tyler loves to be outside.
Yeah.
If he lived at the mountains, he'd be a hiker for sure.
Yeah,
That is so his cup of tea. But we are always doing fun stuff with the kids. I enjoy helping people in recovery. I get messages all the time. My uncle needs this, or this mom needs this. And I love just like gathering it together for them. And thankfully I have a community on Facebook that if I post something in need, they 90% of the time will have that need met within an hour. I'm grateful for that. I love that. I love helping people, and I love helping Saving Grace. They're a local home for women, so I'm real involved with them. We do dinners and stuff there for the ladies. So yeah, we're pretty busy.
And you're making a lot of big moves on TikTok as well. Like, your content
like
is very,
TikTok.
very geared towards helping other people.
People are
like,
mean though.
I mean, people can
His
be
skin
stupid.
is way thicker than mine,
Everyone-
and so
everyone's
sometimes they hurt
tough
my
online.
feelings. But he doesn't do social media, but
Yeah, you got keyboard warriors.
Yes.
Though.
Yeah, I mean-
Those people are just like gnats. You just got.
yeah,
That's
pretty
what I
much.
tell her. Like, don't even worry about it. Just let them do
Yeah.
it. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they're gonna say what they're gonna say. It is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. All right, same question to you.
I think that we have to emphasize that it's not all like paying bills and, you know, going to the grocery store.
Which it can seem like sometimes.
Which it can. I think that you have to have a balance of like what your routine is, like a grown up mentality, but you also have to keep like a childlike mentality. We do that with the kids. Like, we'll go out and play football in the yard, or we'll play video games with them, or like, don't be afraid, you know, to do something that maybe takes you into a childlike state, you know, just to have fun, because it's not all bad. You know, you don't have to smoke weed before you play Call of Duty.
Right.
Like you did back in the day.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm
right.
saying? Like, you don't have to do that. So that's what I try to do. I know Amber tries to do that. She's very good at like sitting down and playing board games with the kids.
Yeah, I like board games with them.
And just interacting with them in that way. And it's not all about just the kids. Like, me and her we'll go pick a day and go shop or something like that, just to where we're kind of like stepping out of that day-to-day routine. I think that's important to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it gets monotonous sometimes.
Yeah, it can.
Same thing over and over again. So
Yeah.
we definitely try to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot to be said about having a set routine and doing things, you know, throughout the day that are, you know, that it's just a routine and it's what you do. But it's also important for me, at least, and it sounds like for you guys as well, to have something to kind of break up that monotony. Drew, what you got, buddy?
I'm just enjoying listening to y'all. It seems like y'all really got it together. I mean, you've got to work.
We have our moments.
We do. Life is not perfect. We are not
Yeah.
perfect. I mean, the 7th and 8th year of our marriage was probably the hardest. We just got out of a hump. I mean, it's hard being
Oh, yeah,
married with
What happened
children.
the 7th and 8th year? Do you mind me asking?
No, it wasn't anything even major. It was just every little thing he was doing was getting on my nerves.
Yeah, I think
You mean the
everything I was
7-year
working
itch
on.
was coming
Yes.
into
You
play?
just get to that point where your relationship gets tested. That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
super tested, but we made a decision. Divorce is not an option.
Right.
There's been times I'm like, I'm sick of you, I want you to leave, but
Yeah.
he doesn't. So we're human, like, you know, but thankfully we don't fight a lot. Life's good. He balances me out because I'm super like 90 to nothing, and he is very calm, chill. Be quiet, don't you? So, yeah, it's good. But, you know, being married is hard. It really is.
It's very
and he has
hard,
never
yeah.
been married before, but I have. So I know
Yeah.
what not to do.
Well, love is not a feeling. Love is an action.
That is
So you
true.
genuinely have to, you know, you have to choose your person every single day. And some days, you know, you're eating in bed again. Can you please stop that? Please, for the
Right.
love of God,
Right, it's
can you
always like
shut
the-
your mouth and just watch this television program? Like, that's, I would never say anything like that, obviously. But
I hate bed grit. Too. Crumbs in the bed.
it's just like, come on,
Me
man. It's just
too.
like, okay, you eat in bed for 2 to 3 minutes max. 2 to 3 minutes, that's your window. You go on for 20 minutes, and we got a problem.
Right.
We got a problem.
Yeah.
Eat in the kitchen.
Yeah, you could eat yeah.
It's a designated
Table,
area
you
for
know.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
If
Exactly.
only there was a place especially for
Right.
that.
Right. That's
Yeah.
so funny. I can say though that I am grateful because whenever I was in addiction, or before I started living life for the Lord, I'll say that I was never one to be faithful. I have never had a boyfriend or partner, marriage, whatever, where I was faithful. I just could not commit to one person.
Yeah.
And Tyler's the only person that I've ever been faithful to. And that's like huge for me. And I have no desire to want to see or try or anything with anyone else but him. And I love that because only God could do that in me if you knew me
Yeah.
before. I
Yeah.
mean, really.
Yeah, 100%.
No, I get it. I mean, God changes us, and this is, we're not a, I personally am a very, very spiritual person. I don't go to church on a regular basis. But I have a relationship with God today that I would have never experienced in active addiction. So I'm super grateful for that. And it's important to, have that as, a base of a relationship or something that the relationship is based around. Things can kind of get squirrely for me if we go the opposite direction.
Right.
So, we are, let's see here, how are we doing on time? All right, we got a few more minutes. Tell us what's coming up for you guys in the future. You got anything you want to talk about? You got anything exciting that's going on in your lives? What's coming up in the near future here?
I have a job opportunity. I don't want to say where it's at, but it is dealing with the recovering addict. So I've been praying about that. I hope it works out with if it happens, it's going to be at the beginning of the next year.
Awesome.
So I really am excited about that. And I have for years wanted to start a nonprofit. So I've kind of been dragging my feet on it, and I'm like done dragging my feet on it. So we're about to get the ball rolling. I want to open a home for women and children. So that is my goal, and I'm saying this out loud so I'll hold myself accountable because opening a nonprofit, it's so much work. It seems like it's a ton of steps and it's a lot to do, and it's kind of intimidating.
Well, you got
So I'm going to do it.
what you just said is on the internet
Right,
forever now, so
exactly.
people are going to hold your
I'm
feet to
gonna
the fire
stop
about this.
dragging my feet, and I'm going to get on it because it's needed in this area. Really,
Absolutely,
for
it
sure.
is.
it is.
Tyler, what you got?
Man, I don't really have anything.
That's all right.
I'm just rolling with her. That's what I'm doing.
I love it. I love it. Drew, you got anything else, brother?
Look, I'm a huge advocate for sober living
Yeah.
systems, houses. The more the merrier, and especially for women and children. That's
Isn't the only place that accepts children is in Vicksburg right now? Or is it-
Oxford House. They have a house.
they do?
that
So
has
there's a
women.
house locally that somebody opened. They're not 12-step or anything like that, but they were posting about how, hey, we just opened this place for moms and their children. And I was very excited. And I had a mom a few months later, which was recently, come to me trying to get into that place. I talked to the lady. She said, yeah, come on, send her on. It's $600 a week or $600 a month. And I was like,
I'd say
what?
$600 a week.
But they
have equine therapy.
right? But they said it like it was
Red light
free.
therapies, of course.
So I want to open a house that is potentially free. Like nobody has that coming off the street, $600 a month.
Right.
So that's what I'm hoping for is nonprofit where we get a lot of donors and people are willing to help keep the house afloat so these women can get on their feet.
Well, the path to, I guess you're looking at a 501(c)(3).
Yes.
I mean, it can be difficult,
Yeah.
but just
Very.
systematically execute everything that needs to get done one step at a time, and you'll get there
My
eventually.
dad said he was like, the only way to eat an elephant's one bite
But
at a
there's-
time.
There you go. And I think we'll end on that. There's nothing else better than that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in.
Y'all
Thank you
did
again
great. Y'all did good.
to Tyler and Amber. You guys are incredible. Keep doing what you're doing. And we will see you guys next week on the Recovery Lab podcast.
Okay.
Who?